Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for having us and joining another Echo Carbon and Commodities Exchange webinar. Of course, we're still here trying to push the word, the advocacy, and the energy around climate action and all that's happening in the environment. I'm glad that everyone is here. Happy New Month. It's a new month. And the very good thing about the new month is we are going to be celebrating World Environment Day this month, which is June 5. And yeah, today's webinar is going to throw some lights and just have like a general conversation. This has been a conversation that has been going on for a while. We've been talking, everyone has been talking, and yeah, it just is for the benefits of generating more impact and action. Today we have someone very amazing in our midst. We have Dr. Okay, no, we have Michael Osei Asibe, PhD. Sorry, I called you doctor, but I think maybe in some non-distant future we can have that title added as well. But yeah, we have an incredible person, and we'll be having an overview and would be having a discussion about just basically everything that is going on in the climate action sector, and how the world is trying to transition and move into the net zero space. I would have to apologize. My device does not enable camera. Yes, it doesn't. So I would have to apologize for that. But otherwise, yes, please. It's still Benaye Co here. You can follow me on LinkedIn. This is live, and yeah. So welcome, Michael. How are you? How have you been?
Thank you, Benaye. I'm doing very well. How about you?
Yes, I'm well, thank you. I want you to just give us a brief about yourself. We need to know who you are because you're a young person doing amazing in your field. So yes, no, we don't take you for granted. Though. We can't be casual about your feat. So yes, we'd like to know more about it. Just give us a brief, and yeah, that'll set the tone for today's discussion.
Okay. Thank you very much, and hello to everyone. Yeah, so my name is Michael. I say yesterday. I'm from Ghana, and I had my PhD from King University in Kumasi in Ghana. Over the past few years, um, I've developed much interest in environmental issues, specifically climate change, because it's one of the topical issues around across the globe. I'm currently a lecturer with the Department of Planning at King University in Kumasi, Ghana. So briefly, that's just basically just something small about it. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's good to have young people because we're the change we need. That's what we're saying. We
Yeah.
leave no one behind, right? And we
Yes.
have to prepare ourselves. Yeah, we have to prepare ourselves for leadership. We have to prepare ourselves for every sector that there is to effect the change that we want to see. Okay, so let me ask, Michael, have you ever been to Nigeria? Because I want to ask you
No.
very deep questions now to compare. Yeah, so Nigeria and Ghana, of course, have the war,
Yeah.
the jollof rice war. But today we're not going to be talking about jollof rice. Okay, so we'll be
Oh,
talking.
that debate is settled, so that's fine.
No, we'll come back to that later. Okay, so
Uh,
we'll just be talking about, of course, the environment. I want you to just give us an overview. Okay, for people that, of course, are joining from Nigeria, they want to know, okay, what's the Ghanaian environment like? Is it like the Nigerian environment? And when I mean the Nigerian environment, recently we've been seeing several effects of climate change. We've been seeing
yeah.
very chaotic weather. We've been seeing some differences that were not there maybe like 20 years before now, 10 years before now. So we're seeing drastic changes in environment. besides that, we're also
Yeah.
seeing that our government is trying to position the people and to position some systems that would help to curb some form of waste, right? So
Yeah.
I remember that I think I saw on social media sometime last week where the president made the speech. The president made the speech about trying to do something about the environment, but then the people have to be involved to change their attitude. I think that's right. Yes, yes. From our end, we also have that type of behavioral rigidness. That's, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a word to
Yeah.
use, where people are not they don't want to hold themselves accountable. So I want to know what, compared to what you're seeing, do you think that's like a similar scenario? Do you think it's an African thing? Can we generalize it to that point? Or do you think that there are underlying issues that cause that from your own perspective?
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I think it is a very sensitive matter. Um,
Okay.
from here, it looks more of a behavioral something,
Okay.
than a governance issue. Issues of environmental change and climate change in Ghana. Yes, we basically understand that climate change issues mostly probably could be natural. But in terms
Yes,
of
exactly.
impacts, yes, in terms of impacts and the kind of risk we're exposed to, it is more human induced, and it has to do a lot more with attitude. And so I remember over time, there have been some approaches to talk about participation,
Yeah, true.
inclusivity, other things, yes, just to try and involve the local people in these environmental issues.
Okay.
So yeah, there could be several underlying issues, but I think that the topical and the major issue has to do with the attitude. I was very careful to conclude that that is it, but I think it is something that we cannot lose sight of. Largely attitudinal. So that's basically what I want to say from you. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's largely behavioral. So
Yeah.
now what do you think? For instance, there are some places in the world where if you litter, or maybe
Yeah.
your waste, you default the waste coding system where you're supposed to put maybe food waste in another trash bin, and then you mix it up with other plastics. Do you think that if we bring that to like Nigeria and Ghana, do you think that there'll be compliance? What do you think the compliance rate will be? I'm going to speak for
Very
Nigeria.
interesting. I've, I've done quite a lot of research in
Yeah,
waste as well.
yeah,
The issue even has to do with, if we want to talk about segregating waste
yeah.
as what is degradable and non-biodegradable. The basic question we would ask ourselves is, do the people even understand what you mean by what you want to say?
Exactly.
Do
That's
we,
true.
do we really have the means to segregate them? We don't really have the facilities to do that. And in my institution, KMSC, for instance, households or houses are provided with, let me just say, waste bins.
Okay.
One to treat the biodegradable substances, and then the other for the non-biodegradable substances.
That's
But you
interesting.
go
That's
in
interesting.
there, yeah, but you still go in there, an academic environment, you still go in there, and you realize that the refuse are mixed up.
Wow.
You get it. So yeah, so in the advanced countries, yes, you go to countries like Denmark, and Sweden, Finland, and other areas. They are doing so much with waste, and it is surprising to know that countries like Sweden, they are even importing waste from Africa.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
you ask
true.
yourself,
Yeah.
how would you import waste? Yes, how would you import waste from Africa?
Imagine
Something we
running
don't
out
need,
of
but they are
waste.
doing exactly, exactly. But then there's no way Africa would run out of waste, and then we have issues with providing treatment facilities, processing them, and all that.
Yeah.
That is how come we
Yeah.
are yes, we overcome with waste, and there's basically nothing going on.
Okay.
We try, the interventions we put in place are ad hoc. They just come reactionary. They just come to address for a short period of time, and then They go haywire again. On a funny note, someone mentioned that take the Ghanaian from Ghana to the US
Yeah,
and bring the
yeah,
person from US to Ghana. You
yeah.
see massive transformation.
I believe
But
that as well. I believe the environment also contributes in a way. Like if you have
yeah,
very tough enforcers, then I think that people would try to see the value in it.
yeah,
I always think that the mentality is people say, okay, why do I have to dedicate so much energy into sorting my waste when I'll go out on the streets? I'm seeing the waste, maybe the government is not doing their own part, coming on time to pick up and all of that. We don't even know where the waste is going to end up in. We don't have enough facilities to treat, like I said. So I
yeah,
think even those type of psychological incentives also help to give some form of change to the
yeah,
way people perceive, especially
yeah,
from this part of the world.
yeah.
All right, so I want to ask, do you have any in Ghana? I'd like to like just tailor it to Ghana now. Do you have any whether, no, no, it's
That's
not
fine.
going to be no, no, no. I won't put you on the spot though. What's like energy? What's the energy ecosystem in Ghana? Right? So the world is looking at the net zero transition, energy transition.
Yeah.
All this, of course, energy has so much impact in the environment, in emissions. So what's the energy ecosystem right now in Ghana? What can you say?
Okay.
Where do you think that Ghana is now in the general sphere of transition?
Yeah. Okay. I would say Ghana is doing quite well.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they are doing quite well in terms of there have been conscious attempts or effort to streamline activities. Have in place some policies and some strategies to meet that target. The
Yes,
Paris of conference target of reducing probably net zero emissions and all that. But then it is surprising to note that Ghana as a country are also experiencing rapid urbanization. And so
yes,
I asked myself, we want to limit emissions to this level, but they are still experiencing rapid urbanization, industrialization, and all that.
yes. So,
There have been some attempts, as I said, there have been several policies have been enacted, all just to be in line with what the international and then the regional protocols are. But in
yeah,
terms of achievement, it has been very marginal. As I said, there are some things I think it's a general thing. Most of the interventions are ad hoc. We are in a rush to put them up.
okay.
Over a year or two, we just lose
Yeah,
focus. And then
yeah,
we
yeah.
go back to ground zero. Yes. And so that has been it. But then for the past over the past 2 3 years, yeah, there have been some very conscious attempts and efforts in Ghana to address this ecosystem and then this climate change issues in Ghana. I can mention over 5 6 policies with several arrangements, with
Okay.
partnership with international organizations
Yeah.
to meet the target. Yes. So basically we are doing well compared to probably other African countries. I think we are in line. I just hope that the momentum and the motivation, we still keep it up
Yes,
to
yes, it
achieve
keeps
that.
happening. Yeah,
Exactly.
yes, I've been following the Ghanaian ecosystem as well, and yeah,
Yeah.
I support what you're saying. I understand what you're saying as well. Ghana is actually
Yeah.
keeping up to it. There are progressive
Yeah.
actions actually following up, not just the policy. So yes, I agree with you.
Mhm.
I want to know
Yeah.
how do you think, like, if you're do you have, or what's the question? I want to know what, in case of policy, right? In the case of
Okay.
energy policy, how
Yeah.
do you think young people are put in that sphere of things? Now, I'm
Yeah.
sure if you look at the demographic of Ghana, you'd see that the people that are mostly in the active states now, the people that are running the country, people that are pushing the country
Mhm.
are actually in the
Yeah.
and young
Yeah.
demographic. So how are they being put in the core of this change, in this transition? How are they driving it? How is the government involving them? Like what instances have you seen? Have you yourself for yourself as well? What instances have you been involved in? And what engagements are you having to make sure that this is not just fluke, this is not just
Mhm.
conversation and paper, and this is not just
Yeah.
particular set of people, but the people that are actually going to be affected by it. Because in a couple of years' time, we're going to be the ones that will be running everything. So, how do you see the place of
Mhm.
young people right now,
Yeah.
and what do you think should be done better in letting young people run the climate action in Ghana?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, let me start with this. Um, for the past 2 years, there have been some very conscious attempts by governments, by civil society organizations, by private sector organizations to, integrate the youth in climate change action.
Yeah.
I remember last year, Ghana embarked on a tree planting exercise
Okay.
that was largely targeted at the youth, where we wanted to plant about 5 million trees or so,
Five
yes, across
million.
the country. Yes, 5 million trees, yes,
Wow.
and that was done. Yes, and it involved the youth. So we got in touch with academic institutions, religious organizations, civil society organizations,
Yeah.
and the drive was very massive. The enthusiasm and the motivation to drive that particular initiative was there.
Yeah.
No, fast forward, there are still efforts by civil society organizations and religious groups to champion this cause by involving the youth. And some youth have already even taken up upon themselves, to form advocacy groups to educate the people on the need to preserve the
Yes.
environment and to ensure that we safeguard the environment because the future generation is important and it's very, very important.
Yeah.
And so going forward, I think that yes, something has started. We need to keep it up.
Okay.
But it all goes back to finance. If you don't get the
Okay.
financial support,
That's true.
you start these things and yes, and you stop. It looks like we have a lot to worry about. You know, there's a lot to provide,
Yeah.
not just the environmental climate issues. But then in Ghana, the youth involvement in environmental issues and climate change, if you trust me, has been very, very massive. And any
Are
initiative by the
they
government or by the organization is held up by the youth.
okay? So what you are saying now is that young people are actually open to the idea of getting involved.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so I like to hear that, because there's some, I don't know, there are some parts where young people don't want to be the forebearers or the yeah, they just want
Mhm.
to, I don't know, focus on their own thing. Everybody has their own focus in life. Some
Mhm.
people just want to have a career
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
yeah, just want to live life, enjoy. So yeah, it's
Exactly,
good.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to hear that we have climate action leaders in
Mhm.
Ghana and young people as
Yeah.
well. Of course, like yourself, are doing amazing things. All right. So so at Eco Carbon,
Mhm.
we actually have a climathon that's currently running.
Okay.
You see now, it's so sad that we did not involve Ghana. Probably in the next one.
Yes, you would have to. You would have to.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is to create an ecosystem for Nigerian youth to be able to bring out, think, brainstorm ideas,
Mhm.
build products that can challenge climate action,
Yeah.
climate change, sorry, and
Yeah.
that can be viable. That's one, that can be able to reduce, have positive impact. Now, hello, are you still there? Okay, yeah. So that's what we're trying to do at Eco Carbon, which is great,
Yeah.
because with time
Yes.
we're going beyond just Nigeria. We're looking at we now have projects outside Nigeria, but we want a viable and active, a breathing, a living ecosystem that goes beyond Nigeria.
yeah,
So we would love to have young people in Ghana join us. Of course, we would love to have like sometimes have like advocacy programs in Ghana and all of that.
yeah,
So we love
yeah,
to hear what we're hearing that
yeah.
yes, young Ghanaians are championing climate change.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so
and
I
and and,
would
and, and, and let's know on that. I have consciously,
okay,
started, for instance, my undergraduate student that I'm supervising have consciously made available or told them that whatever research that they want to do, whatever impact they
okay,
want to make, it should be targeted at climate change and the environment. It's about
yes,
11 out of the 13 of them issues on climate change, issues on environmental
yeah,
sustainability, building resilience.
yeah,
I think it is something very important that we need to take up. Because once we lose
yeah.
the
So
environment, I think we are all gone. Yeah,
yeah, that's true. So where we see it is that we
mhm.
see climate change as the as goal, right? Everything can
Yes,
convey us to that goal, or
yeah,
everything can carry climate change as an enforcer to that goal.
yeah,
I mean, you're looking at the SDGs, you're seeing the entire sector of how the economics of the world is built in just
mm-hmm.
17
Mm,
goals, right? So that means
yes,
if you're a
yes,
doctor, you can achieve sustainability in being a doctor. If
yeah,
you're in the engineering field, you can achieve the SDGs in the engineering field. If you're in
mm,
the design, if you're a farmer, it just I feel that young people now have an opportunity to see that there is you have the path. You can choose the path where you can reduce as much as possible the kind of waste that maybe previous generations have overlooked.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
a great opportunity to have that sort of mindset embedded from very young age, like you're doing. So we really
mm.
applaud that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so just on the lighter mood, do you have particular eco friendly products that you like to use or that you can recommend?
um,
Maybe is it
I
an
don't,
app? I know there are some apps that help you. I know there are some apps in like from our own end. There are apps in Lagos like that can help you uh, connect to a recycler, a waste picker, and then you can
mm,
now be incentivized through points. And there are some people that can turn waste into some type of product. There's
yes,
biomass as well. There's
yeah.
clothing. There's furniture. So, do you have any particular that you've seen so far that's piqued your brain? Like, oh wow, this is an excellent idea, and wow, it's also from around me. Do you have any of those?
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little about the product as well?
Um, well, honestly, in Ghana, there's nothing like that yet.
Okay.
It's most of our waste are handled by the informal recyclers, where
Oh
you just
wow.
take the
Okay.
waste to them. Yes, you take the waste to them, they dismantle whatever they want to do with them, they do with them. But my experiences in Denmark, as you rightly mentioned, they are going smart, where yes, you're able to track the waste from the dump site through to transportation to where it is dumped. The entire waste recycling chain.
Wow.
So down here in Ghana, unfortunately, let me just say it that way. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Although we have waste management companies, they go around. They are not using any app. They just go around house to house, pick the waste, segregate them, recycle them, however they want to do to go about them. Yes. But my experiences in Denmark, fine. I don't know how relevant they may be, but they have some specific apps that they deal with. Right from the dumping through to transportation to segregation, recycling, and then the final dumping. So, so from our end, I cannot really mention or recommend any app now because we have not developed up to that particular point yet.
That's interesting. I think it's a process, and we'll
Yeah.
get there someday. How are you excited about COP coming to Africa?
I can't wait to have them here. I
Exactly
can't wait to
right.
have that con. I can't wait to, yes. I can't wait to see that conference being held here. It'll be very, very
Yeah.
interesting. And I
Yes.
think a
Yes. So
lot of, yes, if opened up, a lot of us will join.
yes, yes, yes. I feel yeah, it's an opportunity to have like a closer
Yeah,
view and put us on the map as well. Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
What I think we have some questions. I'll just go through some live questions that I've
Okay.
seen here. Okay, someone wants to know, in your opinion, which countries produce the most pollution? No, we're not dissing everybody. This is just facts. So if you just tell us facts,
Anyway, it is, yes, from available statistics, we all
exactly.
know that, the industrialized economies or the developed global or the developed countries are, in terms of pollution generation, they are topping. So go to, I mentioned Russia, China, USA, the popular three.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. That's true. That's
So
true.
so
That's
China,
true.
yes, China, Russia, USA, and then the other European countries come in. But you cannot go past these three.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they
that's
generate
true.
a lot of the waste, and we suffer. We suffer here.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so from your own end, someone asked, what human activities, like an individual like myself, what human activities contribute to climate change? That's what someone has asked. Then, if so,
Okay.
what should I do about it?
Okay. Um, there are a lot you can talk about when it comes to human activities generating waste or causing or leading to climate change. The commonest you can talk about is from an environmental perspective. How we treat or how we handle waste. Some are still into the burning of, some still burn waste, solid waste, in the open environment or even in residential areas. It is one activity that contributes to global warming and climate change in general.
Yeah,
So waste management and waste handling. Again, you can talk about combustion and fuel combustion and all that.
yeah,
And most of us want to drive cars that are not so efficient. And
yes,
so,
that's true.
yeah, every youth goes up and that. Once you drive a car, but you ask yourself the extent of impact these automobiles have on the environment. Unlike the developed nation where they are now trying to go more efficient means of using or producing automobiles,
Yeah,
we are not there yet. We are still using less efficient vehicles. So that is also one thing that contributes a lot to climate change issues and global warming.
yeah. So
And then the type of structures we also build them as well. Yeah.
I didn't get that. Come again with that.
From a construction point of view, the
Okay,
type of
yes,
structures
yes,
we don't
yes,
build
yes, yes,
or
yes,
put
yes,
up.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to add to that, of course, you know that when most of these cars, some of them,
Mm-hmm.
will I say some? I think I want to put an appropriate definition of quantity. Now, we usually get more second-handed vehicles, and I think
Yeah.
that's where most of the issues come from, right? You can't afford the
Yes.
new ones, or you can't afford the very new ones from the factories, so you have to pick up the ones that have dropped below standard from from a from a developed country to yourself, and that
Yeah.
goes even outside. When you go beyond vehicles, you also go to electronics,
Yeah.
phones. You go to even down to what we wear, things that have been regarded as waste. Usually just end up in our markets, and then they are regarded
Value.
as, yes, like a valuable product. And some of them have lived off a very large percentage of their lifespan. So you just bring
Yes.
them here, and then maybe a month or two you're having issues, and these issues you may think, oh, it's personal, I can deal with it. There is a direct impact in the environment.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
I agree with you. And I feel that
Exactly.
we should strengthen our strengthen policies that take in second-handed products. I feel there should also be promotion of indigenous production, and of course within the African community as well. I think that's what the AXPA is also trying to do. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's one way that we can look at actually controlling the waste that we have in Africa. All right, someone has
Exactly.
another question to ask. This person is conflicted. This person says, "What is more important to you, social issues or environmental problems?" This is a very, this is a very, this is a very tough because environmental
A
issue
very,
problems.
a very tough one.
But yeah, let's give it to you.
Yes.
What is more important to you? What do you think is more important? The global sphere of things, social issues or environmental problems? Wow.
We can honestly, you cannot talk about environmental issues without touching on social issues. As
Exactly.
we
Because
started from the
yeah,
beginning, most of the environmental issues are behavioral, and that is social. You get it?
exactly.
I, in most cases, I tackle environmental issues from a social perspective because why you do things the way you want to do them is something
Yeah.
that is social. You really need to
Yeah.
understand why we do certain things and how they impact on the environment. As an environmental expert, definitely yes, I would say environmental. But
Yeah.
then I think we need to tackle the social issues first and then we now handle the environmental issues. Because any
Yeah.
environmental
That's
issue you pick up, you trace it back to the social issue as well.
absolutely, absolutely. That's true. I want to give an example to add to what you said. So, there in Nigeria, we had a report that after malaria, HIV,
Mhm.
firewood smoke is actually the third killer of women and children in Nigeria. So now the issue is the fuel used to cook, right, which is firewood, which is the smoke that comes up.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
we now have a solution, and that fuel smoke is not just a social issue because it affects the women, affects children.
Exactly.
It's also an
Yes.
environmental issue because
Yeah.
you're contributing to emissions. Now you now have a solution like clean cook stoves that reduce
Mhm.
emissions, that prevents cutting of trees, that prolongs lifespan of these women. So this
Mhm.
question we still don't know how to answer it, to be honest, because environmental problems,
It's difficult.
yes, yes,
It is.
it is. The environmental problems and social issues most
Yeah.
likely always they intertwine some way, and one is like the causative of the other and keeps
Yeah.
following
Yeah.
the circular motion of things. All right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll take this as the last question. So someone asks is which country that in your knowledge has the most environmentally friendly reputation?
Offhead, I'll mention Sweden.
Okay, yes, yes. I also
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you on Sweden. Sweden, I think
Yes.
Sweden has hacked it. I think
Yeah.
Sweden has
They are
hacked.
doing too well.
Yes, yes, yes. They've built a system where I don't know, it would take a lot for people to catch up with. Sweden has hacked the whole
Exactly.
system. Like,
Yeah.
how can you import waste? Like
Exactly.
that is the whole
When
system.
I read that and we had a workshop on that, I was asking myself, oh, what is waste? Waste is something you don't need, and so we discard it.
Exactly.
So why would I throw away waste? And then a country saying that it is short of waste and wants to import waste. Come to think of it, who does that?
Like that. Sweden has hacked
Interesting. They
it.
have the most
I hope
efficient
that
system. Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. That's true. We have. I think that we should have, especially for in Africa, we should have an idea where or
Mhm.
develop systems where we can be able to. Of course, it's all about the circular economy, where we can be able
Exactly.
to use what we need and
Yeah.
just give back what is necessary, right?
Yes.
Now, if
Yes.
Sweden can do it, I think we can do it. I mean, I was having a conversation with one of my mentors. She's in the recycling space, and we're looking back in
Mhm.
time. She's older. There used to be like we didn't used to have plastic packaging, right? We used to wrap things in like
Mhm.
banana
Yes.
leaves. We used to wrap, and they used to
Yeah.
be properly preserved, right? We used to have clay pots. We used to have all
Exactly.
of
Yes.
these
Yeah.
ideas and what I call technologies that we made by ourselves. Now, I understand that, of course, industrialization came, swept
Mhm.
everything, but as a continent, as individuals, we need to go back to say, okay, from what's happening right now, what center and not Vietnam. Hi, Kian. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. If you'd like to chip in, maybe give some resources. If you want to ask some questions, if you'd like to contribute in any way, we're open to hearing and receiving that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Richard Munang, for joining us. So I'm glad to have you. Dr. Richard has been one of our inspirations. The fact that he promotes young people contributing in climate change, climate action. The fact that he promotes their innovations. I mean, we've been following him so much, and we love to have more interactions around these types of discussions. Hello, Rashid. Thank you so much. Hello, Cyril. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yes, we're still here. If you have any more questions, I'm sure Michael is still up, and we can have these conversations going and going for as long as. So yes, like I was saying, I feel that the idea behind innovation before
Mhm.
now did not have sustainability in it. It just had, and that's
Yeah.
what the linear economy is. It just had the innovation where you just solve a problem and it just sticks there. So you don't know, you don't see through the life of that solution. That's what they call
Yeah.
the life cycle analysis. Don't see through the life of that solution. At what point does the solution get obsolete? At what point does the solution need to be padded with other things? At what point
Mhm.
is there a need for improvement? At what point do we even need to do more research and research and research? Because there's also there's also the fact that some things can work in some other climes and
Yeah.
may not work in our clients as well.
Exactly.
So I feel
Yes.
that yeah. So I feel that if Sweden can do it in their own rights, African countries have the responsibility to think of ways, to think of solutions that can also have that level of impact and more
Mhm.
as well. Okay, so I think we have a question from I think we have a question from Destiny. Okay. Okay, so Destiny is asking, what type of energy is most environmentally friendly? How to use this type of energy? Why or why not?
I think now the call has been to go, to make use of, to move away from, let's, if we pick the typical energy ladder, to move away from these
Yes.
biofuels and these things to more renewable energy sources. Solar is expensive anyway, but it's something that in
I
Ghana
just wanted to
we've
say
been
also.
yeah, we've been
Yeah.
exploring, and it's something we are picking up. Just that the average Ghanaian cannot afford it because of how expensive it is. But it is very sustainable and environmentally friendly. And it's something probably we can look at in the near future. So basically, I think you just have to cut down on the biofuels and these solid fuels, and then move to transitional fuels. I think they are way better compared to what we currently do in most rural areas in Africa. You just get to the forest, you cut down trees, you burn them, and all that. They are not environmentally sustainable. And I think there's the need to rethink and have a look at it again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I would, I don't know, would it be easier? Would it be easier? Do you see Africa in the very near future
Mm-hmm.
having reached a reasonable level of transition? Because I, I would say I personally fear that we may not be able to meet up with what we target to reach. I feel that there's a lot that still needs to be done. And when I mean a lot, I feel when it comes to access to resources,
I mm, yeah,
yes, if you're talking
yeah,
about, we have to be very candid about this. Renewable resources are not cheap.
yes,
That's the truth about it. So now, what do we
yeah,
have that can be, I don't know, that can be looked at in a way that the impact is not so, or the impact is better positioned than how we normally would use them. I think that's the kind of conversations we should have. If we tell
mm-hmm.
somebody in like the poorest country in Nigeria, ha, to go and change from what do you call it? To go and change from maybe normal electricity to solar,
Mm-hmm.
it will be
Mm-hmm.
difficult, very difficult.
It's
I
very
mean, even
difficult.
for
Yes.
some of us, yes, even for those that are in the middle class, it's still
Mm-hmm.
expensive, right? For
Yeah,
taking up all of the the electrical loads that you have. So
exactly.
it's going to be a big conversation, and I feel
Yeah.
that it would need to involve the government will need to get involved. It will need to come to a point where there will be subsidized systems. But yes, for now, yeah, we know that there are several energies in nature that we can harness and all of that. But the
Yeah.
feasibility of bringing it down to the common person, because they are the ones that contribute. They are like the mass majority that contribute to the environmental issue, right? So
Exactly.
I
Yes.
feel that it will take a while, but yeah, so
Exactly.
far.
Yeah.
So we
I
have a
do agree
question.
with you.
Yes, yes. So I have a question from Nosayame Osahon. She's the lead. Sorry, I assumed your gender. That this person is the lead environmental specialist, and this question goes: how can we make the government outlaw the use of plastic, or organizations to stop the use of plastics, because it is a nuisance to our environment?
Is it African governments?
That wow, that Sayame, I think if they put you in charge of Ministry of Environment, anybody you see with plastic, you will just send them to jail. I feel that's what you would do. This
But I
yes, this
trust me, in Ghana,
yeah.
there are conscious efforts, to ban the use of plastics in so many things. For example, yes, I'm an environmentalist. I'm advocating for so and so. You
Yeah.
put me in the ministry. As I asked, is it the African government? You get there, and the kind of pressure in the system for you to work within, you even end up throwing away all your principles. And that's basically it. So we go in there with that enthusiasm. We want to
Yes.
change things, but you get in there and you realize that the system itself, pushes you away.
Oh
I've
my
had a
God,
chance to
Michael,
work
this
with
this
the
this
ministry.
reminds
It's
me.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I was much younger, when I just started into the space of recycling, oh my God,
Mm.
I had this body, this burning desire.
Yeah.
I had a burning desire. I was like, I must rid Nigeria of plastics.
Yeah.
I was young, I was out of the service year, and I just had like, oh my God. I watched one Dutch World documentary. I was like, I was so pumped. Ah, as I entered the ecosystem, I saw that you were just I just felt, oh, I'm just pushing against the brick wall. This will not work, and I'll just crumble and this will just fall. Because it starts from the very top. It starts from the policy.
Exactly.
It starts from the people in the market looking for
Exactly.
alternative packaging.
Exactly.
It starts from
Yeah.
manufacturers.
Exactly.
It starts from those that are importing, those that import at cheap rates. It also
Yeah.
starts to with those that have turned it into a business, a livelihood, right? It also starts from the government. So
Yes.
all of these
Yes.
stakeholders, all of these people,
Exactly.
you can't just come up and say the policymaker, of course, can decide to say we're going to stop, we're going to ban plastic. I mean, they tried it and it had to be reversed because how do you want to sustain how do you want to sustain that type of policy? What do you want to sustain within your state?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
Kenya did that. They replaced it with paper bags. We're talking about Nigeria here. So we've earlier on mentioned about behavioral influence and all of that.
Exactly. So yeah. So it goes back to the social
Exactly.
issues.
People
You
cannot
can't
wrap.
go with them.
People
You know.
have gotten.
Sorry to chip in again.
Yeah.
You see, yeah, you come with a policy that the society will not accept it. In Ghana, we had a policy or legislation to ban the importation of used refrigerators. That legislation was in place. It didn't even last for more than 10 years. We cannot afford brand new stuff, so just allow us to import them, and that was it. So the policy was just thrown away. A very social issue.
Wow. So yes,
Yeah.
we just I looked at that and I was like, this will take this is a whole this is it deserves it mandates change from every single stakeholder.
Yes.
And besides that, I feel that plastic should be we can't ban plastic. I mean, there's a good part, and there's a good part of plastic. There's
Yeah.
the functionality of the fact that
Yeah.
you can remove, you can eliminate um, packaging. You can make
Yeah.
sure that whatever you're packaging is secured, is safe.
Yeah.
But I feel that there should be regulation. And one way that that regulation can go is like what's happening in Nigeria is if your packaging, maybe after
Yeah.
someone drinks maybe a bottle of water and your brand name is on that water, you can be fined for that plastic here, that piece of plastic ending up in
Yes.
places that are not supposed to end up. So
Yes.
that's a form of regulation. Another
Yes.
type of regulation is maybe if if we have some form of deposits,
Mm-hmm.
like we used to do. We have like some um, impact investment avenues where these fines or these monies that are gotten from these companies are used to support projects, maybe like recycling projects, um,
Yeah.
collection projects, um, any type of projects that would remove the plastics from the environment. So that's the kind of
Yeah.
that angle we're looking at. But I feel that regulation would have more impact than
Yeah.
just a strict ban. If we say we want to ban, I feel like a lot, in fact, all of our products would not make it in the market anymore because we plastic is a good resource, but it has been misused. You have to accept that it's
Exactly.
been misused.
Yes. Yes.
So that
And
regulation goes a long way. And what I've
yeah.
noticed also is that we have only seen regulation for just a section of people. We have only seen regulation for just some of the big names in quotes. We have not seen regulation for some of this. Yes, yes, true. We've not seen
Yeah.
regulation
That's
for
true.
some of the small offenders because they feel that,
Mm.
oh, this umbrella defaulter can cover up for me. So that's
Yeah.
another thing that I feel should be looked at as well.
Yeah.
Olalekan Bakare says we need to engage the lawmakers. They're the ones responsible. Every environmental NGO organization have to include this discussion and advocacy. We need to make the people aware about disadvantages of single-use plastic and taking the protest to lawmakers one state at a time. It has happened in Scotland. I believe you, Olalekan. I feel yes, we can do this. As well as we do this, we should also have an alternative because we can't just ban plastics and let people without a
Mm.
choice, without an incentive, without subsidies for new products that are being
Yeah.
in the market.
And, and just a quick one to that.
Yeah.
She mentioned Scotland. You know, most of these European
Yes.
countries are doing the extended producer responsibility principle,
Yes. Yes.
which is
Yes.
in line
Yes.
with the EU Directive 2012,
Yes.
where you
That's
place
true.
the responsibility on waste management and everything on the producer. So as you already mentioned, if you should find a plastic waste from this producer, the producer has to make sure that in the production of that particular plastic or that particular equipment or product, it shouldn't have such detrimental effect on the environment and the health of the people. If it should happen, the producer should be brought to book. And this is working so well in the European countries. Trust me, Africa, it's not like we don't have the legislation, we don't have the lawmakers. We have very, very good policies and initiatives. But it goes
Yeah.
down to acceptability, enforcement, and the willingness to implement whatever we even have.
That's true.
That is basically it. Yeah, that's it.
So that's true. All right. So I think we can just we've had an engaging session. I'm so glad that we had this conversation with you. Let me see what. Okay. I think this is the last question we will take. We
Yeah.
have Mr. Destiny Agbanimo, and his question is: this is the last question we take, and we'll just call it a day. Thank you. What is the future of climate leveraging technological innovation? And what do you think are the success projections in 10 years? Let me go again with that. What is the future? And I feel we should also we should put we should answer this with the view of Africa in mind. So, what is the future?
Yeah.
Or what is Africa's future of climate leveraging technological innovation? And what do you think are the success projections in 10 years? Thank you, Destiny
Okay. So,
Agbanimo, for that question.
mm, yeah. Thank you for the question this one. There's let me just say this quote. When it comes to issues of climate change, the argument that climate change at a point is creating winners, that's the developed countries, and then
Yes,
losers, the African countries. And this is nothing to debate on. They are talking about cuts in global greenhouse gas emissions, but these things are far off where they need to be.
that's true.
In the future, I foresee that there are calls to trade, carbon trading, carbon offset trading, and all that.
Yeah, that's true. The carbon
The
credit
developed,
system.
the developed nations have a lot to do. to help us with this climate change issue. That is how come probably they spearhead almost everything. All the initiatives, all the protocols are coming from them. Unfortunately for us, we do not even have the facilities, and that's how come we remain the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
I don't really foresee, hmm, sorry to say this in any way, you know, climate change has been very topical over the past 2, 3 decades, but
Yeah,
we are
that's true.
still not meeting targets. The next decade, honestly, from where I sit and look at the projections in terms of changes in climate, I don't really foresee that whatever target we even have now, we may achieve it. If the industrialized countries do not really up their game and ensure that they stick to what the SDGs are saying, what the COP26 agreements are, and all that. Africa, we least induce climate change, but then we are most vulnerable to them. And so for us as a continent, um, we can only sit back, have our policies, again, go to the local level, talk to the people in our own small way, do what we have to do to save that environment. We are not in so much position to dictate or to say things what happens in the developed countries. They make a lot of noise about climate change and all that, but they are still
Yeah,
causing them. You go to northern hemisphere, climate change is worse, it's worsening. Projections and estimates are saying that in the next decade, in the next 2 decades, we'll still be experiencing the impacts of climate change will be very, very severe. That is how come the talks have now been shifted from trying to control emissions and
yes,
climate change to rather building resilience and
yes,
adaptation.
yes, yes, yes,
Yes, the talk has now moved
yes,
from that to let us rather build resilience because whatever happens, we will still experience climate
yes.
change. Let us find means of building resilience to it. And I think probably that's the way to probably go now to look at it in the short term. We can rather look at resilience and adaptation, and then let's hope that emissions go down from the developed countries.
Yeah, I'm so glad you also mentioned about the ecosystem adaptation that we're also doing. In addition to
Yeah.
that, at Eco Carbon, we look at we're trying to create an ecosystem, like I earlier on mentioned, where we can be able to um, bridge the gap between climate
Mhm.
incentives, that's the voluntary carbon credits, and
Yeah.
individuals are actually trying to reduce emission or trying to involve themselves in climate action projects as well. So yes, it's a whole. I think we've had a lot to discuss today. And what would be your your take? What would you like to advise everyone? Like, what would be like your last words before we just close up?
Yeah. And I'll just say that by taking a quote from the immediate past president of France, that see we have a single mission, and that mission is to protect and hand on the planet to the next generation.
Yes,
Whatever it will take us to do this, I think it is something we need to do as individuals and as groups. And I'm very glad Eco Carbon, you are doing this. And I just wish that hope that they will take this advocacy to the highest level, where we try to make sure that measures are put in place. Government may not listen to us, but then
yes,
as
yes.
as advocates, we can do that to protect and handle
Yeah,
this
move
planet to the next
regardless.
generation.
Yes, we
Exactly.
move
Yeah.
regardless. Push
That
forward
that that's
regardless.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining us. Thank you for tuning into this webinar. This is powered by the Eco Carbon and Commodity Exchange. It's a it's and of course we're going to have subsequent webinars in partnership with UNICEF Genbu Niger, because we have a climathon that we're running, and this climathon is to create a pool of ideas for climate mitigation. And we're so glad that we have you all with you. And thank you again. I would also like to thank the Eco Innovation Center for partnering us. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for everything. And do have a lookout on our LinkedIn and our website, because we give regular updates there. Thank you so much for joining in and have a good day.